Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We are here today with Dr. Judy Embry, and she is from the University of Kentucky. She is a reading recovery trainer there. And we are also joined by Randy Embry. Dr. Randy Embry is from the University of Louisville.
Thank you so much, Pam. Well, Pam and Dana and Christy, the teacher leaders here at Kentucky Valley Education Cooperative, have asked me to speak a little bit about the history of how we got reading recovery started in Kentucky. And I was the first teacher leader, one of the first teacher leaders here in Kentucky 31 years ago. So the story started 31 years ago. And I was trained at The Ohio State University with Gay Sue Pinnell, Diane DeFord, and Carol Lyons, and Mary Freed. So it was a really wonderful group that I was able to train with. But then I came back to Jefferson County and worked as a teacher leader. But after several years there, I was approached by the consortium in Lexington, the Central Kentucky Consortium, CKEC. And they asked me to bring the services of reading recovery to the teachers in that area of Lexington, Fayette County. So I took a leave of absence from Jefferson County to become part of CKEC. And as I did, the program started to grow in leaps and bounds. And after time there in Lexington, Dean Raines asked me to join the University of Kentucky's faculty to be part of their group to have reading recovery at the University of Kentucky, which I did, but we realized that University of Kentucky needed to take the next step and have a university training center. At that time, I trained about 125 teachers, and I was blessed, believe me, to have reading recovery, to see this early intervention go into the lives of so many young children and help really save them from future problems with literacy down the road. If we can catch them early, then they won't have that difficulty of reading. And so I decided to, with the help of my family, go to Texas Women's University to then study to become a trainer. As I came back to become a trainer, my husband, Randy, also traveled with me many places. And one of the places he's traveled with me was Region 8. And at Region 8, we met several superintendents that started to talk about how to get a teacher leader in this area here in Eastern Kentucky. So Randy, I'll let you tell the story about your conversations with some of the superintendents.
Well, reading recovery was new to many superintendents at that time. They had not heard of it. It had not made any impression to them because they hadn't seen it in action. We were trying to get reading recovery into the eastern part of the state, and I believe it was in Prestonsburg that we met with this group. And I can remember at the break talking to a assistant superintendent from, I think, Lee County, one of the counties, and I was telling him that we had an opportunity to get a teacher leader, someone who could come to this area and actually teach teachers in reading recovery. And at that time, to get a teacher leader, it was very difficult. But this person happened to be a trained teacher and leader that was coming to the eastern part of the state from, of all places, California. And she was coming because her husband was a pastor at a church in eastern Kentucky. And I told him that this was really something that they could not pass up. And he got excited about it and came and went to the meeting and got people involved. And that's how we got the first teacher leader. Her name was Karen Bess. Mm-hmm. And to come to eastern Kentucky and deal with many of the counties here.
And so as, again, the teachers started to find out about reading recovery, we saw a need to train additional teacher leaders. And at that time, Vicki Sloan was asked to be trained as a teacher leader. So she traveled every week to the University of Kentucky for her training. And that was 2002, 2003. And again, it kept growing and growing. And Karen moved to another position, and her husband moved as pastor. But then Dana Duff, and Donna Singleton came on board with their training in 2005, 2006. And so I'm going to ask Dana just to reflect a little bit about her training as a teacher leader, reading recovery teacher leader at the University of Kentucky.
Well, we attended UK for a whole entire year, learning methods, research on reading strategies. It was a very intense year. Dr. Embry, she took us out to schools. We had experiences learning how to lead teachers, how to guide teachers in their thinking. And by the end of the year, we were very confident that we were going to be successful.
And again, KVEC had a way of leading, and through Jeff Hawkins, your executive director, he had a passion for literacy for all children, for all students of all ages, especially the early childhood, to make sure that they were successful. And then after we trained Dana and Donna, and they had 3 teacher leaders, we had many grants that started to come in. And KVEC, again, was always leading the way in serving the children that needed to be served in Eastern Kentucky. And then in 2013, 2014, with some retirements coming up, then Christy Hicks became the next teacher leader. So again, with new growth and new development, then we had Pam come on board, and Pam came on board in 2017-18. And she is going to reflect on her training that year as a teacher leader, because she had been a teacher before, and so had Dana. Mm-hmm. So they both understood as teachers about reading recovery, but now they were at a new level of teacher leaders to help the teachers in their local schools become effective literacy teachers. Pam?
Well, like Dana said, every week we would travel to University of Kentucky, and we had several assignments. It was very intense. We did a lot of shadowing. I even got to come and shadow Dana's classes here at KVEC, and we had classes there at UK. We did a lot of research. We did a lot of reading articles, reading books. We did a lot of presentations in front of the other. I trained with 5 other ladies from across the state, and Dr. Embry has nicknamed us the Steel Magnolias.
Because they were so strong, coming from all over the state. And again, we've been just really blessed to have our teacher leaders be so strong in the districts they went back to, and of course in KVEC, which has 21, 22 school districts. 23, oh my goodness, you'll keep growing. 23 school districts that you work with. But as the teacher leaders, they still work with children, because our first call is always the service to those children. And then the second is they work with professional development to help with, again, making stronger literacy teachers in our local schools and our local school districts. So that gives you just a brief history of reading recovery, how we started in Kentucky, and then how it's now spread through Kentucky, and how it's been here in Eastern Kentucky since the late 1990s. So good work. You've been almost 20-something years with reading recovery in Kentucky, here in Eastern Kentucky.
Okay. Thank you all. It's always a pleasure to have the Embrys in Eastern Kentucky. And like she was saying today, it's like coming home.
Yes, it is.
And thank you all for joining us today. And we will
holler
at you later.